On page Yates, and we're starting a new Maamar today, on the parsha of the week actually, Shkacha Pratis, Ve'ela Mishpatim. Ve'ela Mishpatim asher tasam lefneihem, ki sikne eved ivri, vidu adiok. So the question on these two psukim here, the first two psukim of the parsha is well known. Which is the Alter Rebbe's question in Torah. The lefneihem or Lashon Rabin, page Yates. Lefneihem is using a plural term, that you place the dinim in front of them, in front of all the Yidden. But immediately after that plural term, ksiv ki sikne b'lashon yachid. The Torah says ki sikne in a singular term. So either it should be the same lashon. Either it should all be lashon rabim or it should all be lashon yachid. So the basic point that's answered, and this question is the chisikne koi. When it says chisikne, what is this word going on? Loyal tevas lefneim. It's not a hemshach to what it says in front of them, in front of the yidden. Elo al mashakasu v'ashatasim. Rather, it's referring to the person, to Moshe Rabbeinu, that places the halachas in front of them. The Hainu Moshe Rabbeinu. All of them regarding Moshe Rabbeinu, it says Kisikne Evedivri, that he acquires an Evedivri Mishom Shuhu Mamshech Das b'Neshamas Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu is the one that brings Das, the knowledge in Elokos, as we'll see in the Hemshech of the Maamar, to the Neshamas of Yidden. So when it says Kisikne Evedivri, it's not simply referring to the mitzvah of buying an Evedivri, but it refers to Moshe Rabbeinu that acquires and elevates every single Yid. He brings Das to all Yidden. That's the point there. So in the Taich of the Pasik, Kisikne follows Ashatosim. The exact pshat in this and the whole arichis of who and what Moshe Rabbeinu is will be explained over here in the Maamar. Kisikne, when you will acquire. That's a simple pshat. When you will acquire a Jewish slave. So to understand what this is talking about. In short, first the point, the pasuk says, the Eibusher says, I plant the Yidden, and there are two kinds of neshamas, the Zera Adam, the Zera Behema. One level of neshama is called Zera Adam, a seed of a human being, and the other one is a seed of an animal. And this refers to the neshamas of Yidden. It's a pasuk in Yirmiyah, but the Alter Rebbe brings us here to two levels of the neshamas amongst Yidden. Chlal is neshamas Yisrael, nechlekul shnei sugim. In general, Klal Yisrael is divided into two categories: Zera Adam, v'Zera Behema. What is the difference? Zera Adam, heim neshamas d'Atzilus. Zera Adam refers those neshamas of Atzilus, which means they come from Atzilus, and even when they come into this world, they remain on a level of Atzilus. They're not connected to the world that they enter into, and they don't become melubish into the Olam Biyah. The Neshamas that come from Atzilus. Shegam b'dayris harishainim, even in earlier generations, hayu mo'atim. Those Neshamas that are Zera Adam, that remain Adam, removed of the world, are very few. Zera Behema, then when it says that there's the seed of the Neshamas that the Eibusher plants, that are called Zera Behema, Hema Neshamas Biyah. They are the Neshamas that enter into Biyah, they get enclosed in Biyah, and they have a shaykhis to Biyah. Asher kamat kol neshamas b'deriseinu eila. Almost all of the neshamas in our generations, heim Zera Behema, are on this level of Zera Behema. Shenikru kain, the reason why they are referred to as Zera Behema, mishum she'ein bem das. They do not have das, the understanding, the knowledge, the connection to godliness. What distinguishes an animal from a human being? The das. The Behema has no das, and a human being does have das. So therefore the lashon of Zera Adam and Zera Behema is also used regarding the two dargas of the neshamas. The neshamas that have that deep connection to the Eibusher are Zera Adam, and the neshamas that don't are Zera Behema. And most of the neshamas, not only most, he says kemat all the neshamas in our generation is from the neshamas that are Zera Behema. Yon Eshal Moshe Rabbeinu Hulahamshich Das b'Neshamis shebebchina Zera Behema. Moshe Rabbeinu, he is the one that connects all of the neshamis that are on the level of Zera Behema, that they should also have that das that Moshe Rabbeinu has. The neshamis on the level of Zera Behema without any connection to Moshe Rabbeinu. You're mamish like a behema that's walking around that has no idea what's going on, has no connection to anything. Moshe Rabbeinu, if you connect to him, he brings das to everybody, including to those neshamas that are on the level of Zera Behema. Ki Moshe hu mishivas harayim. Moshe is from the 7 shepherds throughout generations. Mamshichim chayis velokos l'chlolas neshamas Yisrael, which draws down chayis and godliness to all of the neshamas. Shelachein ikram b'shem rayim. Therefore, they're called shepherds, that they provide the sustenance and the ruchni is the energy and the connection to all Yidden. Moshe hu klalos kula. Moshe Rabbeinu, although he's only one from the 7, but he includes all of them in general. V'nikra raya mehemna. In Zayar, Moshe Rabbeinu is called a faithful shepherd. Moshe Rabbeinu draws the level of das to Yidden. Moshe Rabbeinu is on the level of das elyon, or as he said before, Moshe Rabbeinu is a neshama datzilus. And he's not only a neshama datzilus, but he draws from the place that he's in and provides that same revelation that he has to all of the other Yidden that are on the level of Zera Behema.
Are we going to find out that das and Emunah are connected?
Yeah, of course. No, that's open according to the Maamar. Yeah, absolutely. It's coming. Let's see. So this is the inyan b'kitzara. This is the point b'kitzer, that it's necessary for all the neshamas of Yidden to have the hashpah from Moshe Rabbeinu if you want to be connected. Because the neshama over here, all the neshamas here in this world are Zera Behema.
What about he has hashpah and the neshamas of Tzilus also?
Doesn't say that here, not over here in this mind. But let's focus on the neshamas of Biyah. Let me just explain before we go weiter. Okay, we'll see over here the inyan. But the point is, when you learn the Maamar lechatchila, it would seem like that the mashal of Zera Adam and Zera Behema means that all of the neshamas are like behemoths mamish. They have 0 das. They're mamish like behemoths. What's a behemoth? A behemoth just lives without any awareness whatsoever of what his purpose in this world is. He lives by his instincts. He has an ego, and he does what's good for him, and he's in a survival mode, and that's a behemoth. What's a human being? A human being has das. He knows what he's here for. He understands what life is about, and that's the nimshal also b'negei to the neshamas. But it's not meduyik that way. That's not the way to put it, because even the neshamas of Biyah, Zera Behema, they're neshamas as well. They're also neshamas, and they also have an awareness of who they are and what they're doing in this world. He just finished off saying at the point that what's Moshe Rabbeinu? Das elyon. That's Zera Adam. Zera Adam is das elyon. What does that mean then? So what's Zera Behema? Zera Behema is das tachten. In Chassidus, the difference between das elyon and das tachten are 2 different levels in the awareness of the Eibish's connection to this world. Even the level of Zera Behema is also neshamas that are fully and well aware of the Eibish's shaychus to this world and the fact that the Eibish is mahava the world b'chol rega and so on. Elamai, it's still das tachten. The premise of the das, of the Behema, is tachten, that the world exists, that there is a metzias of Welt. Moshe Rabbeinu, neshamas datzilus, das elyon has das sogya, how the Welt is completely bottled with metzias, yichudi Allah, which is what das elyon is about. So it's not like it would sound kipshutei that Moshe Rabbeinu is mamshech das to the neshamas which are Zera Behema that are stam like behemoths mamish. Moshe Rabbeinu brings the emes das elyon of Yichudi Allah even to people that are living in the world and are only shaykh and mitzader aveda, even if they come to the shleimus of their aveda. Person does the most that's possible. What could he come to? According to the hakbalas of a person and of his neshama, he can come to the recognition of das tachten. Moshe Rabbeinu elevates a neshama to come to the emes recognition of Einay Mulvadai be'einay reich, to what a person can come to on his own. That's the pashut pshat of what he's talking about over here. But we'll see more bepratius in the hemshech. Haben ze bepratius yaiser ma'u hechrech be'inyan of das dafke. So the focus over here is specifically on the inyan of das. It could have been any other kinds of expressions used over here. The point is that Moshe Rabbeinu draws to Yidden a deeper connection. But what's this exact lashon that's used? Das dafke. Moshe Rabbeinu connects to Yidden through das. Seemingly, das is only one of the 3 moichin. Das is actually the last of the 3 moichin. Hine maila sadas, the maila that there is in das, he shall yode dafke nases helodas amidis. When a person has das, that's what brings about the birth of a feeling, of a connection, of to be attracted and to have a feeling to something. Chochma and bina are removed of the midas. Dafke das brings the birth of the midas, and das is in a very, very key position between the moichin and the midas, and it's a connector. It connects the moichin and the midas. That's why we're focusing on das. If a person learns a subject, then he just learns the idea, but he doesn't connect to it, then he doesn't focus very, very intently on the idea that he learned, even if he has the understanding on the level of Chachma, it will not bring the person to have a true love or awe of Hashem. If he does not connect and really focus on what he's learning, so then whatever Ava V'Yira, whatever feeling he has as a result of what he learns is not real. In order for the understanding in the Mayach to penetrate the Metzias of the person in the heart, you have to have Das. Das is what sustains the Midas. It's the energy behind the feelings of the person. Das includes Chesed and Gvura as well. Pirish, which is Ava Vanafer and V'Yira Vanafer. Chesed and Gvura includes the love that a person has for the Eibishter and everything else that comes as a result of Avas Hashem. And Yira Vanafer also includes Yira and everything else that comes out. So the question over here is, why is Taka Das so critical to have a feeling? Why do you have to have the sphere of Das in between? Chachma and Bina is after the person has the full and perfect understanding. Chachma is the Nakuda, and Bina is all the Pratim. After a person learns something, and he goes through it thoroughly, with all the Pratim, so he has the full understanding of the concept. What's lacking? Why do you have to have the sphere of Das in order to bring that connection to the Midas? If he has everything, the complete understanding, if a person has learned something, and he doesn't understand it properly, he just learns it, b'ashkafir ishayna, so then you understand why it doesn't affect the person, why it doesn't bring to any midah. But if you have Chachma and Bina, what's lacking with Das? So he brings over here the mashal of a child. Okay, first to be mamchish the Indian, to see how it is by even a child that is very, very intelligent, but it doesn't necessarily direct his feelings in the right place. Okay, a child, could have a child that's very, very intelligent and very, very sharp. Chorif, he's extremely intelligent. However, the obligation and the responsibility to fulfill Torah mitzvahs does not apply to the most intelligent genius of a child. Whether fulfilling mitzvahs asay, whether keeping the mitzvahs leisasa, doesn't apply to him. Why not? Kiven the lav bar dasu. What's lacking by him is the das, to connect and to have the level of responsibility for what he knows. That's something else. Das is a completely different thing. The even if he understands and he comprehends the full understanding of the concept, that it should actually touch him and it should move him and he should understand the relevance and the importance to actually follow what he understands. That's already a totally different story. As Olveren Azai, that he should become like what he understands. He should connect and become and follow based on his understanding. That's a completely different story. That's the union of Das, that the person actually becomes transformed and affected by what he understands, to connect to the Indian that a person understands. So you see, b'mochash, a child could be very, very, very intelligent, but for a child to have the level of responsibility of an adult, they don't go together. So that just like it's true regarding a child, the same is also true regarding an adult. He's bringing you a mashal of a child. He doesn't want to offend anybody. But the same is true regarding an adult. A person can have the full intelligence and understanding of what's right, but to ma'aseh b'poel hat es nicht. What's the reason, Taka? You see that there has to be that connecting link of Das. Chachma and Bina alone will not change the anhaga of a person. Not only it won't change the anhaga, it won't even affect his midas either. Dafke the union of Das. What's the koyach of Das? The Rebbe explains.
This is not telling us what Das is, though.
No. He's bringing you a mashal. He's bringing you a mashal to prove the concept. Yeah, he's bringing a mashal from a cotton to prove this concept that Das is a very important ingredient. Without it, you can be a genius and understand everything, but to ma'aseh b'poel, it won't change a thing.
It's the difference between Tov and Tov Li.
Toiv and
Tov Li.
Yeah.
That's, in other words,
Kirvas alakim li toiv, you mean,
right,
huh?
Li Tov, right. It's another. It's very
The
impersonal.
Rebbe will explain. Let's see. Well, and so what is Das's contribution? The first thing is Chachma Shureishis HaSeichel, the beginning of a person's understanding. There's another level of chachma which is not yet the beginning of an understanding, but it's the source of seichel. So that's already at the higher dargan chachma. Sometimes that's called chachma stima, which is in keser, which even before the person actually has the point of understanding. What's negei over here when we're talking about a person understanding and learning about a lakos and learning something? So we're starting with the beginning of understanding once a person actually is using his seichel to understand. The kudas hachachma, the point of chachma, or hanikra nacha, which is called a hanacha, which is in Yiddish a upleg. What's the word for that in English? You have the right word for me?
Obvious?
No, an upleg. An axiom. That's the right word, l'chayra. An axiom. Yeah, when you have a certain nekuda, a point about something, a person is learning a difficult sugya, and it's very complicated, and he's confused, and there's questions, and there's things that are out of order, and he doesn't know how to make a seder out of it. You have to have a certain yisaid, certain axiom, a certain hanocha, a certain upleg of how to make a seder out of it, even before you get to the details and you see how everything falls in place, but you have to start with a certain premise, with a certain yisaid of an approach. That's the nekuda, the flash of chachma, which is directing and guides a person where to go. That's how everything starts. If you don't have that nekuda of chachma in the beginning, so then you're still in darkness. Chachma is that the original flash of lichtigkeit that shows a person the main point. So that's reishis haseichel. Yesh boy, in this one nekuda that starts at the beginning, yesh boy apratim shebeseichel. That one axiom, that one premise really includes all the details that will follow later to explain everything. At the beginning, when a person only sees one nekuda, he has that original flash of the direction that he's going to head into. It's all included, behelim, it's all there concealed in the point. So too, yesh sham gam anatiyas l'chesed l'gvura. In that original point, when the person begins, you already have the netiyah. It's which side is it leaning towards? Is he going to come out l'chumra? Is he going to come out l'kula? Which direction is he heading into? But ella shem behelim. Still, since the person didn't figure out the details and he didn't apply it to the details of the case or the subject or the concept that he's dealing with, so you don't yet have the whole thing figured out. That's the concept of chachma. So, or the way it's explained in other places, chachma is the idea of re'iyah. That's the person sees in seichel the emes of the thing. The person has a certain nekuda that he sees what is the emes from the zach, but then to actually come and comprehend it and then even explain it to somebody, even explain it to himself, he can't yet. Just like when a person sees something and he doesn't get the details of what he saw. You saw what you saw, and what you saw you know is emes. But chachma, there's a very, very powerful feeling and intuition that this is the truth, this is the way to go, this is the emes upleg. But the details of how to explain it and how to figure out the pratim, he doesn't have it yet. Then, it's still possible for many things to be switched around. Many of the details can be switched around, what's here and what's there. All the details are behelim. So therefore, at that point, when the person doesn't get the details yet, if he had a certain upleg that this detail belongs here and that detail belongs there, once he'll come and figure out the details, he might see that it's the opposite of what he thought. The nekuda won't change. The nekuda is very clear. But once you apply the nekuda to the pratim may change in their order of things the way a person sees it originally. So the point of here is that chachma and bina, or the nekuda that there is in chachma, and what comes out in the pratim are really opposites. They're really opposites, because when it comes to the nekuda, what happens in the nekuda? You're removing yourself from the details. You want to look at the emes from the zach, the nekuda al pia emes that's removed of details. When you come down to the details, you have to take that nekuda and apply it to the pratim that are very, very rigid. The pratim are very, very concrete details that are here and there. You have to apply it. It's a much more difficult thing in a way. What's more difficult for a person to come to? The nekudas hachachma or the nekudas habina? You see b'muchish, there are certain people that are very creative. They're very creative, but then when it comes to applying it to details of how to apply things and how to work things out, they don't have a chush with that. They get lost when it comes to details. They're totally confused. They don't know how to apply things. There are other people that are punkt verkehrt. They're not very creative, but you give them a certain method, you start them off with a certain nakuda, they're very good at making a seder out of things, how to apply things and what belongs here, what belongs there. It's two completely opposite niyanim. One is the ability to remove yourself from the pratim and to zoom into the nakuda. Another person has the ability to apply it to the mitzias of the details. The nakuda is removed of mitzias. The pratim is to take into account each individual, the intricate details, to dafke be able to apply to the intricate details. So that's why Chachma and Bina are two opposites, in a way. But, as it always says in Chassidus, it brings the lashon of the Zohar, that Chachma and Bina are trein rein the loy mispashen. It's like two friends that can't depart from each other. One without the other is incomplete. If you just have the nekuda, and you don't have the pratim, so then it can't be applied. Can't be applied into the mitzias of the pratim. You have the nakud of a certain intuition, a certain axiom of an idea, but how to apply it, you lost. You don't have any application to the mitzias b'payal of the pratim. A person that's very good at the pratim, but he doesn't have that nakud of light, so the pratim that he has are still choshech. He doesn't have the right direction to guide him through all the details. When you have chachma and bina both together, that's the full understanding of a concept. That's Chachma and Bina. Now, where does Das come in? In Das, the idea of Das, Umaloshin is Kashrus. Das is not a third aspect of the actual understanding of the concept itself. The concept itself is fully clear. Das doesn't add anything to that. Das means to connect to the concept. Miloshin is Kashrus, Vahar Kore, Vahar Goshe. That the person should recognize and know that this is Takazai. Or it's maybe what's called in the Yiddish Sprach, the derher, to derher the Inyan. You can know that the Inyan, not know Meloshen Das, but know all the details of something, but it doesn't really resonate in the person's mind. This is really what it is. It's takazai. To really connect to it, that this is really true, and this is really the Metzias, and to feel it and to connect to it, that's already a whole different point. That's what Das is about. Sheheim.
Is there a difference between the Metzias and the Mahus? In other words, once he gets Das, he connects more to the Mahus?
Possibly. 1 second. The Rebbe says here 3 Lashonis. Hiskashrus, Hakara, V'hargosha. There's connecting to something. You could learn any subject and feel like you have absolutely no connection to it. If you would come and bring me today, I'm not sure if anyone else over here, if you'd come and bring me today over here to study Chinese culture, something that's you can say it, you can study it, but you feel a certain richok. You have absolutely lahavdal. You have absolutely no connection to it. You feel like that's the first Indian that he talks about, hiskashrus. The subject that a person learns, just because he learned it and he knows it thoroughly with chachma and bina, there's no kidduv to the Indian whatsoever. It remains in the person's meichen. Meichen is objective. Meichen doesn't connect to the mitzias of the person. Do I have a shaykhis to this? Not at all. Meichen is two people understand the same thing. Two people understand a mathematical equation. Two people understand 2 + 2 = 4. There's 2 + 2 = 4 is more true by me than by him. It's the same dvar chachma that I understand, that another person understands, and a third person understands. And the same thing with any dvar chachma. Any dvar chachma, by definition, is objective. To me, to my subjective self, it has no shaykhis to. Right? So that's the first thing he says, is kashrus. You have to connect to it, that the idea is something that's connected to you. And then v'hakara, to come to a recognition, to really recognize what this concept is. And then not only to recognize, but to feel it, hargosha. To really feel that it's not stama hiskashrus, that it's relevant to you, but to start feeling it. That's already connecting to the midas of the person, an emotional attachment to it. Shehem gimel madreges bedas zula mayla mizu. These 3 expressions of hiskashrus, hakara, and hargosha are 3 expressions in the level of das. What are these 3 inyanim? The first point is that a person has to connect. It's not something which is far, that's unrelated to you, that's objective, that has nothing to do with you. The first point is connect to the subject. Realize that the subject has a connection to you. That gives a person a deeper recognition, understanding what this is about. And va'at shebol argosha, and then the person comes to feel it. Hainu shakarosei binyin zeh b'toikav kol kach, that a person comes to a recognition of this matter to such a degree, that it's not just a recognition of a matter. In his mind, objectively, he then comes to feel it in his heart, this is what it is. And then when he comes to this kind of understanding, and not only understanding, but a recognition and a feeling, so now the person starts realizing what he's up to what degree he connects to this, and what degree this Inyan has no shaykhs to him. You can learn about the deepest and most holiest and highest Inyan in Chassidus, but if you're not thinking of how it relates to you, and whether what you're learning is relevant to you or not, so you're learning about Haych Inyanim. But when you try to connect it back to yourself, now all of a sudden you start realizing where you come into the picture. Do you have a shaykhs bechlal? By was halt and wo hat sich abgestellt? Where the person is holding, where did he stop in his Avodas Hashem? So that's the Inyan of Das over here.